Hello, welcome to my demo video of a simple wallet app using the blockchain. So first of all, we should understand that what is a blockchain, right? So and what is the advantage of using a blockchain? So a blockchain is a very powerful technology where we whatever data is there that is immutable. So anyone can not tamper with the data. So your data is robust and secure. So we all would be knowing about the Bitcoin, right? So Bitcoin works on the blockchain technology, but Bitcoin is not the only coin which works on the blockchain technology. There are thousands of coins, and it's not only about the coin. Blockchain has enormous applications which can be used. For example, it may be used in a voting, and it may be used to have some contracts, which I'll explain after some time. So for this project, I'll be using Ethereum blockchain. Ethereum is also a coin, but it's also a framework. We have Ethereum virtual machines where we can deploy our codes and we can run that in the blockchain. So after this, first we should understand what is a smart contract. So smart contract is basically your normal contract. Suppose if you want to buy a land, then you need some contract, right? The same way, smart contracts are the contracts, but that are digital, which is deployed on the blockchain. So in simple terms, we can say that smart contracts are only the code, which the codes are immutable. You cannot change the code, and that code would run on the blockchain. So this idea makes sure that our application is secure and no one can tamper with that. Suppose if you are making a voting app, so you don't want that someone would tamper with the data, right? So for this purpose, smart contract is being used. So let's see what are the tools required for would be what are the tools which would be required for this demo video. So first of all it would be npm. Npm is the node package manager, because all this other tools, all the dependencies we would be downloading using the npm only. Before that, I would want to tell you that I would be using the language called Solidity, which is a special language used on the Ethereum blockchain. So all the codes which runs on the Ethereum blockchain, or you say the smart contract that is written in Solidity language, which is little bit similar to JavaScript. So after this, we need to install Ethereum JS test RPC, which is a test which is used for development purposes, which is a test account where if you download, you'll get 10 test accounts with 100 details, which obviously you cannot use. And so you can write your Solidity code, the smart contracts, and you can deploy that on that test nodes on that blockchain. So this is how it is. Then we have Web3. Web3 is the client, basically, where we'll make a HTML web app. So that web app would uh, the JavaScript would actually contact with the smart contract, and that JavaScript is handled by the HTML. So Web3 is basically the client which would uh, mm, which would run the code, which would actually tell the blockchain to run the certain part of the code. And then is obviously the Solidity compiler. We need the Solidity compiler to compile the Solidity code on the blockchain. So this is all. We'll go to the installation process and then to the demo process.
So at first we would be downloading Node.js because we need so many Node package manager libraries we will be knowing, which is called npm. So first we go to Node.js, and here we click on this first link, and we have to download Node.js from here. We can choose any of this, but I'm gonna download this. So yeah, we will wait till the time it's get downloaded. So this is all done. Yeah. So actually, I have already downloaded this and installed this. That's why when I click here, it doesn't ask for installation. So I'll cancel here and I'll click finish. So after this, we have to check that whether our Node.js and the npm has been installed correctly or not. So for that, we go to cmd and on the command line we type node minus v. So this works fine, and we do the same for the npm to make sure it's been installed correctly. So we can see here that it's been installed correctly. We can also run a sample JS JavaScript file, and we can check that. We will do that also. So say I go to Notepad and yeah, here I type console.log and sorry, this is a test file, and I save it by say testjs.js on the desktop, and yeah, so here we go to desktop and we run node and then the file name. So this runs fine. So it means that everything is installed correctly. Now we have to install some of the dependencies, some of the libraries which we would be needing to run the blockchain. So the first one is the Web3. Web3 is the client which would be interacting with the Ethereum blockchain. So we have to install that first. So we type npm. It's very simple. We type um, npm install and web3. We have to download a specific version of web3. So we download that and hit enter. So actually it's gonna take a little bit of time. So I'll pause this video till it's get installed. So this has been installed, and so now the next we need is uh, we need the Solidity compiler. So as I said, and the whatever code we would be writing on the Solidity language, which is the language for the Ethereum blockchain. So for that we need the compiler. So we're gonna download that also. So we type sol c and then hit enter. So this also gonna take a bit of time. So till that time, I'll pause the video and I'll come back after it gets installed. So this is also been installed successfully. So the last one would be our test RPC node, Ethereum test RPC node. It's basically when we install this, we get 10 virtual accounts basically, where you would be provided 100 ethers, but obviously you cannot use that. So that is for test purpose, that is for development purpose. So we would download that. So we type npm install ethereum js uh, test rpc and hit enter. So this also gonna take a little bit of time. So again, I'll pause this video till this gets installed and I'll come back. So all of our three dependencies has been installed successfully. So now we are ready to go. We are ready to write our code for the simple wallet blockchain app. So let's go for it. Yeah, so now first we'll see how does this HTML file look like. First I'll show you how is this gonna look on the browser. So we come here. So this would be the I have used little bit of bootstrap and to look this a bit attractive. So I'll explain you the code, because if I start writing the code, it's gonna take a lot of time. So here I have used the bootstrap file, and this is simple. I have used the tables which we can see here. This table has been this table equal to table bordered I have used using the class of this is basically bootstrap. I have used a bootstrap class table bordered, and then I have created this rows and columns which you can see here, this wallet user and the amount. For now it's not showing anything here, but when we write the Solidity code and the JavaScript code, then it should show up here. So let's back to the code, and yeah, so again this is the uh, rows and the columns. These are the names of the user which would send or receive money, obviously. Then I have this input type for as yeah, see, so here we would write the sender's name. Suppose Ankit wants to send money to receiver Haris, say, and say it would be 10. So for now obviously it's not gonna work because it's not coded. So this is how this gonna look like. So here we have taken three input fields, and we have taken the ID as sender receiver amount, and we would be passing it to the JavaScript so that we can code next. So I think this is all, and yeah, this is the um, anchor tag which tells where to go when we click this send. So it goes to the, if on click, it goes to the send money function, which we would be coding next to actually see how this wallet transaction gonna look like. So I think this is all for the HTML code. So we would next move to the Solidity code, which would be running on the blockchain. So as I said, the Solidity is the blockchain language, which is very similar to JavaScript, not exactly, but it's kind of similar to JavaScript. So we would be coding that next. So now we are gonna write the Solidity code, which is the heart of this whole wallet app. So I'll be using Sublime Text to write the code, and yeah. So let's start writing the code. Suppose this we have named its wallet.so. So the first thing we would be doing here to tell the compiler that which version of the compiler you want to use to compile this code. So the syntax for this is you write this way, and this is the version which you would be using to compile our code. So and then next, as we create classes in any object oriented language, the same way we create here a contract, the smart contract, which I have discussed earlier. So I am naming it wallet, and I named it wallet here. So now we would create um, a mapping. Basically, it's similar to hash map in Java, which is a key value pair, where the key would be the key where the key would be the user itself, and the value would be the amount which he or she is holding. So the syntax to do is mapping and then bytes 32. This, I don't know why I don't like this type of identifiers, but yeah, this is what it is in Solidity. So it's basically tells that there's a mapping from bytes 32 to u in bytes 32 is where we'll be storing the username, and u int 8 is the where we'll be storing the amount information and all. So and then public, and then the name of the hash map. So it's I have naming a total amount. Now I would take one array. Again, it would be bytes 32, where we would be storing all the user list. Basically, when you would be passing from the JavaScript, you would be storing all the username in this user list. So for that we have to write the code for constructor, so that whenever we pass the user list, that would be stored under this. So let's write that now. The syntax for that is function, and obviously the contract name or the class name, whatever you say, and then bytes 32 again. It would be uh, yeah, so function wallet name and the username, which would be passing from the JavaScript code, which we would be writing next. So here we write that the user list equal the username. And for now, I just want to, obviously there would be some initial amount in the user's account. So for now, I'm just setting it to some value. So let's write code for that. So say yeah, so for u int 8 I equals 0, and then we have this user list, right? Yeah, we have this user list, and user list dot length, and then I plus plus. And here what are we doing? We are setting it to, say I'm setting it to 100. So it would be total amount of I, yeah, right. Total amount of I equals, say, I think we have to write it plus equal to 100, because initially it is set to 0 by its default. So, sorry, I made a mistake here. First, obviously we have to take one variable, say bytes 32, and say some temp variable, and here we would be storing the user list of I, and then this temp is passed here. It means that we got the user, and then for that user we are setting the value as 100. So this is the code, this is the constructor code. Then we move on. Now next we would be writing code for getting the total amount which a user has. Suppose if we pass the username, then it should return us the amount it has, the person has. So I'm just naming it total amount for simply. So we need to pass the user, and what will it return? It will, this is the syntax for Solidity, I can't do anything about it. So it will return u int. So here first we have to check that whether the user which we are passing is valid or not, because we would be, for as we saw in the HTML code, we have only taken 3 users. So that use whatever user is passed, that should exist. So if valid user, and we obviously we would be writing the valid user function as well. So if valid user of that user, or we can simply say if it's not valid, right? If it's not valid, then you can simply, sorry, I made a little bit of syntax mistake. So first we just check that if the valid user, if it's false, then what we do, we simply throw exception, so it's simply throw. Or else what we are gonna do, that we if the user is valid, then we are gonna return the total amount. So how are we gonna do that? It's like, it's very simple. Total amount of that user, we have to return that, right? So simple, we have to, uh, instead of this, we do return the total amount of that user. So this is all for this function. Now the most important function, which would be the for sending the money, right, from one account to the another account. So say send money, then we need three parameters here. First is the sender, then other would be the receiver, sorry, other would be the receiver, and then the amount which has to be transferred. So again here, first we have to check the user which has been passed is valid or not. So we write the same code. Actually, I'll just copy paste. That would be easy and that would save our time. So uh, if valid user of, here it would be sender, if valid user of sender equal to false, then you throw. The same way for the receiver also. So REC. So if the value, if this is false, then you throw. If the valid user of receiver is false, then you throw. If this is not the case, then what you are gonna do, then you have to transfer the money from the sender's account to the receiver's account, right? So what are we gonna do? Total amount of uh, sender, right? Total amount of sender, it would be minus equals to the amount, and total amount of the receiver would be plus equal to amount. So this is very simple, right? I don't think I need to explain this. So if the user is valid, then we are transferring it, so we have to subtract that from the sender's account, and we have to add that in the receiver's account. Now the last function is left, where we check the user is valid or not, which we have named it valid user. Again, it would take the username, and here we have to check that, yeah, sorry, here it would return the return bool. So we have to write return bool. So for that we have to go through the loop of this thing, user list, right, where we have yeah, this, and we check that the user is valid or not. So u int I equals 0, and then we the user list dot length, and then I plus plus. And here what are we gonna do, that if user list of I, if this is equal to the user, then what are we doing? Then we are returning true. Then we are returning true, or else we would be returning false. So then we are returning true here. If it doesn't matches after this, so here we are returning false. This seems correct. So I think this is all for the Solidity code. This is all we needed to do. So we would move next uh, to the JavaScript code, which would be a very small code. So I don't think I would be writing that code also, because that's gonna take a lot of time. So that would be the last code, and then we would see the demo, how does the wallets, the sending money app, whatever you say that works. So yeah. So yeah, this is our JavaScript code, and this is a very simple code. I actually need not explain it much, but okay, I'll just go through it. So how does our wallet app is running? Basically, we have an HTML. So that HTML will fire up the JavaScript, and this JavaScript would contact with the blockchain, and the code runs on the blockchain. This is how it goes. So first we have created one instance of the Web3 object, and this ABI actually stands for application binary interface. It basically tells the blockchain how we are going to call the function and how we are going to get the data back. We need not worry about this much at this point of time. It's fine. Then here we pass this ABI to the Ethereum contract, and we have this contract instance. I will explain it later. This we can leave this for now. Then we created the user list. We have to pass the user list, which would be the constructor for the solidity code, if you remember here. Here Yeah, here. So this we are passing here, and we are just giving ID number of user 1, user 2, and all. So in the send money functions, which would be fired from the I don't have it now, I guess. Okay, so which would be fired from the HTML code. So this would take the sender's name and the receiver's name and the amount, and it would pass to the send money function of the solidity here, of this solidity, and this is how it runs. And this is it sends to the then it actually needs to grab the total amount, right, to to actually add up or subtract. So for this is for that, and this is for sending to the contract. Basically this is to sending to the blockchain contract, and this is to again display the information. This is basically reading from the blockchain. So we go here, and we try to get the total amount of all the users. So this code send money, this, as I said, this is sending uh, to the blockchain to the information, and it's calling all these functions, and here it's retrieving the data from the blockchain to see the content of, to see the current balance of the users, if it's been changed or not. So this is all from the JavaScript code, and we are ready to run the demo app now, because all the three codes which was required we have written and understood. So let's just run the code, and let's just see how does this go. Okay, so this is the time to see the demo and run the code and see the demo. So first we have to, at first we downloaded the Ethereum test RPC, right? So first we have to run that node so that we can push the code to the blockchain. So for that we have to go to node modules directory, and then Ethereum test RPC, then build, and here there will be one file called cli.node.js. So we have to run that. So cli.node.js. So here in the beginning I told, right, we would be given 10 test accounts. So these are the 10 accounts. These are the wallet addresses of those accounts, and these are the private keys. And this is running on port number 8545. So we have to contact this at this port number. So let's run the code, the solidity code, and first we have to go to our project directory, which is this, and then we type node, and now we are in the node CLI, right? So actually for running any smart contract, any blockchain code, we have some, it's like some standard code which we have to run. So uh, to make it simple, I have written that in a notepad so that I did not type and it would save our time. So yeah, I'll explain this anyway. It's easy, but I'll explain it one by one. So this is Web3. First, we have to tell the Node.js interpreter that it requires the Web3 module. So not here. Uh, so then we move to the next. We create one instance of the Web3 object. Then the next, this is our Solidity code, right? So first we convert to string and then we store this in variable called code. So we did that. We can see all this here, and then this is the Solidity compiler. So we need this module also. So we are running it here. Yeah. Then we have to compile that code. So solc.compile of the code. So that we are storing in a variable called compile code. So these are all warnings, so we need not worry. The code has been compiled successfully. Then we have to go next. This ABI definition is the same thing which I had explained that time in the Node.js, sorry, the JavaScript file. So yeah, next we have to pass this to whatever ABI definition we have to pass this to the Ethereum contract. So smart contract basically. So this is done. Then we have to whatever the code is, whatever compile code, we have to convert that into byte code so that it would run. So this is converted to the byte code. So let's move next. So again, now here we are creating an instance of the wallet contract, right? So we are passing the name as Ankit, Aishman, and Haris here. So let's run this. This is also done. So whenever we deploy any contract, this is obviously this would be stored somewhere in the blockchain, right? So when we do deploy contract dot address, this would show up the address where it is deployed. So this. Then we have to create an instance of that contract. These are all standard. We have to do this every time we run any code on the blockchain. So now we have to, yeah, this is what I was talking about that time. Just give me a minute. Yeah. So this contract instance, it generates one address. This address is where this is the address where our contract instance is present. So we have to copy this. So we copied this and then we come to the index.js file and we have to paste this here so that this knows where is the wallet contract located. Sorry, this we have to remove. Yes, this is all done. Now I think we are ready to run. So we come here and we would load this. So actually after later I put some random values. At first we made it 100, right? Later stage I change it to some random value. It's fine. It's only amount. So suppose Ankit wants to send Haris, say 10 amount. Okay. So if we send 10, so you can see this that Ankit's amount uh, is deducted by 10 and Haris amount gets incremented by 50. Suppose if we do it again, so yeah, we can see that this becomes 70 and 60. So this is all about this blockchain, a simple wallet app using blockchain, using the Solidity, using the Ethereum blockchain. So thank you guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this video, please, please click the thumbs up. Thank you so much.